EIC is a federal program that was enacted in 1975 under the Ford administration. So it's a long-time program. It was started to kind of offset some taxes around Social Security taxes, and it's been expanded. And it's a very, the EIC enjoys bipartisan political support. Every president since 1975 has supported the EIC, both Republican and Democrat. In fact, the program was greatly expanded under the Reagan administration. So it's a program, again, to help offset some of the tax burdens. So you can think about it as, you know, lowering taxes for persons. And it's written into our tax code, our federal tax code, and our state tax code. So it's also a very mainstream program, and that's one of the key messages I want you to hear, is that the EIC reaches millions of Americans. We're looking at tax data here from 2009, which would have been the 2010 filing season. But you can see that 27 million Americans received EIC, or almost 1 out of every 5 individual tax filers. So we're not talking about a small subset of working individuals and families. We're talking about a very mainstream program that touches the lives of millions of Americans each year. And that was $60 billion worth of claim refund credits that went back to, again, working individuals and families. So we crunched some numbers for our local area, and some of these numbers are going to look a little different. With Julia here as our researcher, I've got Jackie Sweating, our CPA, that's also very, you know, numerically inclined. So this information is pulled from a different data set that you might see in other places. Again, it's the same challenge that Julia talked about, where we get the data sets. Much of it comes from Brookings Institute, actually, the data sets. We also look at census data, and we compare it in different ways. But you can see the take-up rate here of the EIC. So this was for the 2008 tax year, or the 2009 filing season. And you can see the take-up rate. We just looked at some numbers across the state. So here we benchmarked against the national average that year. And you can see in Milwaukee here, we're not saying that Milwaukee has the highest take-up rate, we don't know, but almost, you know, 1 out of, or over 1 out of every 4 tax filers in Milwaukee claim the EIC. And in our area, where we have our tax program, in the Appleton area, it was 11% of folks claimed EIC. So again, very mainstream program. This is not a fringe program. This is a lot of persons we're working with are claiming these credits. So something else you might not have known, but hopefully Julia set the stage for that. This is the most successful anti-poverty program in the country, federal program in the country. So, and the largest, it has the largest take-up rate. Without the EIC credits, it was estimated that 9.6 million Americans, more Americans, would have been in poverty in the year of 2009. And the childhood poverty would have been a full 1/3 higher without the EIC credits. Overall poverty would have been reduced, was reduced by the EIC by 20%. So again, I think Julia set the stage for that, but we're talking about one of the most effective programs that we could be working in to really reduce poverty. On a more individual basis, what does this mean for the families that we serve and the individuals we serve? EIC directly supplements wages, and it does that. It can make an $8 an hour job, basically a minimum wage job, a $10 an hour job. So we also need to get our employers very interested in promoting EIC as well, because it helps them supplement their wages to workers. So Secretary, I'm glad that you're here. It's one of the messages we need you to take out, you know, around. And it can be, for some folks, as much as a 45% pay increase in their household and individual income.